Hello, everyone. Welcome. We'll be getting started in just a few minutes, waiting for a couple more people to log on. So welcome. Happy Tuesday.
Emery's on.
Hey, Amber.
Emery.
Oh, hey, Amber. Hello.
What's up, Em?
What's going on?
He said howdy.
Howdy, howdy.
We're not making Tex-Mex.
No Tex-Mex today. Tex-Mex? No, that wouldn't work either.
Anne's on. Hi, Anne.
Hey, Ann.
Alexa will be getting started shortly. I'll come and see you.
Who's on?
No, come and see you there. I'll see you there.
And restart it. Maybe refresh it.
Yep. Like we do it at 7:10.
Probably get started. We're going to get started about 7:10. So give everybody a few minutes to join us and log on. If you have not already, please look in the description of this video and click the link to register for your chance to win a $50 Visa gift card. You don't have to do anything. You just have to fill out the link, fill out the form, and you can win $50. And that is sponsored by REACH, which is a Racial and Ethnic Approaches to Community Health, which is a project by CAI, Cicatelli Associates.
Our sister Estelle made it to the party today.
What?
See?
Hello, hello. Welcome all those organizations that are out there. Let us know who you are here with.
Janessa Estelle. Oh, I guess I shouldn't be saying your middle name. I'm sorry.
Welcome, everyone.
Miles, Millie Miles.
Miles, what's up?
6'10".
7:10.
7'10". Between you, I do.
You don't.
Okay.
I haven't mastered being not behind the camera.
Hey, Mimi. Buffalo chapter of the Links.
Ooh, hello, Buffalo chapter of Links.
So both of your sisters are here. The three of you are here.
Wow.
The triangle.
The triangle is complete. I love it.
Niagara Falls chapter of the Links.
Hello, Niagara Falls chapter of the Links.
Charlene McKinley.
Hey, how are you, Charlene? This is awesome because, I get to not see people, but I get to virtually see people and at least know that they're sharing some space. So that's a good thing. I like that. And usually I'm on the other end of the camera because if you check us out on Friday evenings, Idris is creating a live masterpiece in our living room. So if you do not know already, every Friday we have a live happy hour at 6 o'clock on the By Idris page if you are on Facebook, and on Instagram it's on Idris's personal handle. So you get to spend a couple days with us if you want to hang out.
Tap Rep from Buffalo chapter.
Hello.
My mom is on. My
Hey.
mom.
Hey, Mama.
Okay, you got less than 1 minute to begin.
Less than 1 minute to begin? Okay. That's cool. I think I have everything all together.
You got 30 seconds.
I got 30 seconds.
Nope, 17.
Thanks for that. All right, welcome again, everyone. Hello for joining me, Chef Alexa Joan Wajed. I am one part of Eat Off Art, and today I have my chef hat on, bringing you the second of a three-part series for REACH, which is Racial and Ethnic Approaches to Community Health, which is a project by CAI, or Cicatelli Associates. And I'm here today just bringing you some summer salads and a nice stew for this chilly evening. It rained a little bit, so it's not exactly hot anymore. So we have a nice chill in the air. So hopefully you'll get some good recipes and some good information. And just so you know, REACH stands for, again, Racial and Ethnic Approaches to Community Health. And it's a national program funded by the CDC and administered by CAI locally here in Buffalo to reduce racial and ethnic health disparities in rates of chronic disease. So with that, REACH, basically the priority population is Buffalo residents that reside in the Ferry Street corridor. And through these cooking series, through demonstrations, through hands-on instruction and interactive dialogue, we're here to teach you how to prepare simple, healthy meals. Nothing too extravagant, nothing that you have to go to 5 different stores for. And since we are in the gardening season, oftentimes you can go right to your backyard. And thanks to Freedom Gardens of Buffalo, I was able to do that for a couple of my ingredients. So with that being said, I'll tell you our menu for today. Before I tell you our menu, if you have not already, please go to the description of this video and select the link to fill out the registration form so that you have a chance to win a $50 Visa gift card. Again, please register. It's $50. All you have to do is register. I'll still be here. I'm not going anywhere. You've got me for a little while.
I just put the link up.
All right, the link is up and pinned.
And
so,
your mommy's up too. Your mom is on too.
My mother is on too. Wow, this is a special day. So, today's menu, we are kind of working from the CSA, which is an agriculture box, basically from local farms or community sourced agriculture. And many times people at the beginning of the season will pay a certain dollar amount per week and they get a box delivered to them or they can have it dropped off to them. And it's typically the seasonal produce that you'll receive in that box. Squash, zucchini, lettuces, corn, tomatoes, onions, peppers, sometimes fruit if you opt into a fruit share. But you get a lot of goodness, basically things that grow from the earth and are currently in season in our area. Same as if you are lucky enough to have a garden this season. I know a lot of people are gardening because, you know, COVID. We've had a lot of time on our hands. So many people are planting their gardens and they are reaping the benefits or sowing the benefits of their crops. So today we are making a lentil stew with a lot of good earthy, smoky flavors. We are making a corn salad because right now corn is plentiful and it will be until October. Make sure it's a sweet corn. Make sure it's not a GMO corn. So for corn, you definitely want to go the organic route. And then we are also making a grain salad. And I'm using a different grain today. I'm actually going to be using bulgur wheat. It's more of a whole type wheat. It's not as processed as some wheat, so it's sometimes better for digestion. If you have a gluten allergy or you cannot eat wheat, this would not be for you. A good alternative for this salad would be a quinoa salad. But today we're using bulgur wheat. This is something that you would find in Mediterranean cooking or Lebanese cooking for something called a tabbouleh salad, which is what we're making today, with cucumbers and tomatoes. So I'm going to start with our soup. Any questions yet?
No questions yet.
No questions yet? All right, so if you come with me, we're going to go over to the stove, and I'm going to start working on our soup. And, well, I don't want to say soup. It's more of a stew because it has more of a hearty, a thickness to it. It's not really loose or thin or brothy. It's definitely more chunky and filling, and it's made with lentils. So it is a spicy, smoky lentil stew, which has regular brown lentils that you can find at any store, grocery store. We have some kale, Tuscan kale, and we have some carrots and peppers and onions and garlic. And I'll also be putting chicken in it at the end. So we're going to start. And I have my pan here, and I don't have any water, but I'll get my water. Just a regular Dutch, nothing fancy, just a regular pan, hot. About a tablespoon of oil. You know I don't use a lot of measuring cups, so I eyeball it. That's about a tablespoon. And once my oil gets hot, I know because it's rippling, and I know that my pan is hot, I make sure that the oil coats the bottom of my pan. I have pre-diced or pre-chopped some onions so that I'm prepared for you all today. And it's just regular. You can use olive oil. You can use regular vegetable oil. Any type of oil that you want to. I would not use extra virgin olive oil. You do not want to waste that. All right, so I'm going to put my onions in. Got that nice sizzle going on. Got a little bit of a skin there. Now, depending upon the soup that I make or depending upon what I'm making, I will actually add salt to my onions to help them soften. However, I'm using a recipe that calls for lentils. So I don't really want to do that right now because if you add salt too soon to the cooking process for lentils, then they're going to be a little hard. Okay? So you can add a little bit, but just don't add too much. So for example, just a pinch. Just to help those onions kind of get translucent and kind of release some of that sweetness. And I just have the stove on about medium heat. Medium, high heat. Now, I'm not going to make a lot of this, just enough. But this is a great stew, like I said, for, cool months. Even in the summer months, when it is warm, you can just heat it up in the microwave. But for this is a good one to actually throw in the freezer. So if you make a big batch of it, make sure it cools off significantly. Make sure it's not warm. And then split it up in plastic containers or glass containers. Throw it in your freezer. And then you can have this stew whenever you want to. Just pull it out the night before and then let it thaw in the refrigerator and then heat it up on the stove or heat it up in the refrigerator. In your microwave. I don't use microwaves. Alright, so those are going to kind of get a little soft. And if you notice, the onions are starting to get a little translucent. I don't know if you can see in here.
Okay. I'm making sure there's...
They're getting a little translucent. And this is something you can do really quickly. It doesn't have to take a long amount of time. This is not something that you need to stir for hours and hours and hours. 45 minutes tops. Maybe an hour if you add in extra chopping, but there are always ways to cut that out because you can always get pre-chopped vegetables now because we're in the world of convenience. I diced up some jalapeno and I have some red peppers and some orange peppers just for color that I am adding to that. Soups and stews are perfect for when you are trying to clean out the refrigerator. You all know already. If there's, some celery in the refrigerator that's a little wilty, you're not going to be munching on it for your snacks or anything, chop it up, throw it in a soup, or put it in your stock. Wilted celery is perfect for homemade vegetable stock or chicken stock or beef stock.
Renee Draper's on.
Hey, Renee.
Teresa Harris Teague is on.
Hey, how are you? I'm glad you all joined me today. I'm excited about today. It's a little, we're getting close to September, so I know everybody's kind of thinking about school right now and what's going to happen for the fall semester. So now this is just a little break to let you all just hang out with me. I hope you have a glass of wine. If you are at the end of your workday, unwinding a little bit, hopefully you got out to take a nice walk before it started raining. Alright, so my peppers, I just want them to get a little soft. I really don't want them to cook or become translucent because I still want the texture from the peppers for this particular soup. I chopped up or minced up some garlic. About maybe 6 cloves. I really like garlic. I love the flavor that it imparts. So I always make sure that I have a good amount of garlic when I'm creating my recipes. I give this a nice stir. It smells amazing. Between the jalapenos and the garlic, the peppers and the onions. Whenever you cook, always cook with your senses, your eyes, your nose. Alright, now, here's two things I'm going to do. The first thing is I'm going to add my seasonings now because I want to make sure that those seasonings get kind of cooked in. So I have crushed pepper. Remember, this is smoky and spicy. I have granulated garlic, just to kick it up a notch with the garlic. Cumin. Cumin is that smoky flavor that you don't want to use too much because sometimes it can be overbearing. But I'm going to pair it with the sweet paprika today, so it's going to mellow out really nicely.
Colleen, what's up, Colleen? From Lovejoy.
Hey, Colleen. So I'm going to put
she loves all those colors.
Ooh, the colors are beautiful. So I'm putting about 2 tablespoons of the cumin. And this is smoked paprika. About a tablespoon and maybe a half of the smoked paprika. Again, paprika is a powerhouse. I know a lot of people don't use it at home, but try it. Start adding paprika to some of your dishes. You'll really be surprised about the flavor that is imparted with the paprika. It just brings it to another level. As I said, this is like a smoky, Ah, you can't smell that, but I can. Smells so good. As I said, this is a smoky dish. So in addition to the paprika and the cumin, you could also add something like chipotle peppers, the canned ones, between the liquid that's in them, and then chop up the peppers and throw them in there. That would really give a nice, like, spicy kind of heat to it. So I put the spices in, and I'm sauteing it with my vegetables. This is a very important step when it comes to making soups and stews. This is going to help develop that flavor. Another thing that's going to help develop it is tomato paste. And you don't want to just throw in the tomato paste. Because it's just going to taste like tomato. And we're not making a tomato dish. That was about 2.5 to 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. You actually want to cook the tomato paste in. That's a big secret that a lot of people don't know. You want to cook the tomato paste. Otherwise, your dish is just going to taste like raw tomato. And that's really not a good flavor. Especially for something like this.
Hey, Miss Hargrove.
Hey.
Karen's on. She says, spicy foods are my favorite.
Yes, they are. And if you don't like a lot of spice, you know, don't use the crushed red pepper. Don't use a jalapeno. But you can still enjoy that smokiness with the cumin and the smoked paprika. All right, so it almost has like a chili flavor almost, or a scent to it. Doesn't look like much now, but all right. Now I'm going to throw in some carrots that I chopped. They were skinny carrots, so I really wasn't focused on getting this beautiful dice on them. So I just sliced them lengthwise and then cut them into half moons. All right. And next, brown lentils. Now with lentils, because they come from the earth and because when they're farmed, you want to make sure that there are no rocks in your lentils. So what I do is when I, measure out how much I need, I'll put it on a sheet pan and I'll kind of sort through it to make sure there are no rocks, there's no debris or anything like that. Depending upon the recipe I use, I will soak them. This one I'm not going to bother soaking because it's going to be cooking in water for probably about half an hour or so. All right, so I'm going to add my lentils. Okay. Stir everything up to make sure everything is coated. Seems redundant, but you'd be surprised when you don't do this. You want everything to cling to flavor. All right. Have my bay leaf.
Donna Mitchell says, looking good.
Hey, Donna, how are you? I get a lot of my spices from a lot of the Indian bazaars or the Asian spice bazaars because you get a large amount and really good quality too. As I've mentioned in the past, I buy whole spices because they last longer in the cupboard. And typically if you buy like ground spices and things like that, they're only going to last they're not really that fresh after maybe 60 days. You're really pushing it at that point. I go through granulated garlic a lot, so I buy these from, Price Right, the dollar store, Wegmans, and I just kind of stock up on them, or I'll buy a big container of granulated garlic. All right, now I have I'm using chicken broth. Now, if you want to make a vegetarian dish, I would use vegetable broth, but I'm using chicken broth because I'm going to be putting chicken in this. And this is 1 quart or 4 cups of broth, and then I'm going to add in about 2 cups of water.
Hey, Melissa the disc golf champ.
Oh, hey, Melissa.
Janessa asked, did you soak the lentils first?
This time I did not.
Wait till you come back over here.
Oh. I'll wait until I come back over there. Hold on 1 second.
So you can hear you.
So in an effort to not waste a lot of dishes and dirty a lot of dishes, I'm just refilling this up about halfway to get 2 cups of water. And I have my heat on high. For this recipe, I did not soak the lentils. You can rinse the lentils just to make sure, you know, there's no debris or anything on them. But not this time, because I'm going to be bringing it to a boil. I want that texture on these lentils, because I want it to, you know, I don't want it to be smooth. I don't want it to be a puree. I want it to have some tooth to it. So I did not soak the lentils this time. Depending upon the dishes or the types of lentils, if I were to put like yellow split pea in here, I would soak the split peas in advance because they take a long time to cook. So while this is coming to a boil, I'm going to cut up some kale. This is the Tuscan kale. I already cleaned it already. I clean all my produce in water and vinegar solution. For every gallon of water, I would say maybe a quarter cup of vinegar, perhaps. And then I let it soak. I like using this because, one, because of the color, but also I can kind of chop it up. I don't have to worry about de-ribbing it. And again, I want texture in the stew, so this ribbing is actually going to give it some really good flavor and texture. And I'm just going to, just like I would some collard greens. You see that? You know, I'm right-handed, so I can't give you my other angle.
That's fine.
Just ribbons. A loose or heavy chiffonade. And because I'm not going to use the whole bouquet of kale. I'm probably just going to use about half of it. So I can use the rest of the kale for something else, you know. And then when I get down to these parts, I will go ahead and just, because I don't like to waste too much. So I'm just going to rip this part off and tear it. Doesn't have to be pretty. You know, sometimes we get so caught up in making sure things look pretty that we forget that they're just supposed to taste good, and they're just supposed to make us feel good. So, yeah, I don't pay attention to all that stuff. I just want the food to taste good. I want people to be happy with the food. I want people to recognize that they need to make vegetables to start their plate. So sometimes, even though I'm trained, sometimes I don't always do those things that I'm trained for.
Oh, Steph is on. Tillman.
Hey, Steph Tillman.
Tap says, are there other green vegetables that would also work well with the recipe?
Oh, yeah. You can always put green beans in here. You could throw some cabbage in here. Swiss chard. You want things, you could always put broccoli in, but I would put that at the end because it's not going to take that long to cook. I'm putting the kale in at the beginning of the recipe because kale is very hearty. It's a hearty bitter green. So if I wait too long, it'll be chewy. And you don't want your vegetables to be chewy. So for this kale, I'm putting it in at the beginning of the cooking process so it can cook along with the lentils. What other vegetables? I mean, really anything. You can also put potatoes in here. I know that's not a green vegetable. But you can put potatoes in here or sweet potatoes. Yeah, spinach. But again, wait until the end. Don't do it in the beginning. I said chard. You could even do like beet greens or something like that. That would be really pretty, actually. If you did beet greens, it would kind of color it a little bit, add to the redness of the tomato paste. Boil. Bring it right on up to a boil. See how thick and full that is? And those lentils are going to soak up all that liquid. I have my bay leaf in there, my ginger, all my spices.
Stephanie says, perfect meal coming into the fall season.
Oh my gosh, it is. And preparation for the fall. This is also something you could do like in the Instapot, or you could even do in the crock pot. I would just say make sure you saute your vegetables maybe in advance. Definitely if you have an Instant Pot, use the saute option where you saute your vegetables, then add your spices, and then, you know, kind of pile everything in. That way you build that flavor. Sometimes when we do the crock pot and we do the Instant Pot, we miss out on building the flavor of the dish. So the cooking process is actually very important for that step. So you can actually, you know, let things kind of just marinate and work together and let the heat, you know, gently be applied to it so all those flavors can come out. Alright, so I'm going to let that come up to a boil. I'll watch it a little bit, or I'll have my technical person watch it. Maybe I'll have him do double duty, sous chef and tech, while we come over and start working on a couple of the salads. And, is it still hot? I have also, in preparation for my soup, I roasted up a chicken in advance, a whole chicken. This is something you can do at the beginning of the week. Just get the chicken, rub it with some olive oil, salt and pepper in the minimum. You can always add additional spices and seasonings to it. Throw it in a 400-degree oven for about an hour, hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half, depending upon how big your chicken is. Let it roast. And then you have a whole chicken that you can, you know, start with dinner for the first night. You can add to soups. You can have leftovers. Throw it on top of a salad. It's a quick protein that isn't much fuss. You just cook it once, throw it in the refrigerator, and eat from it however you want to. Kind of going back to those days when we actually had Sunday dinners and we would cook big meals and kind of have leftovers from it. There's my chicken. All right, now, what am I going to work on now? I think I said I was going to do I'll do my tabbouleh salad. And my tabbouleh salad is going to be with cucumbers, not from my garden. I didn't have as much luck with cucumbers in my garden this year. Sorry, Freedom Gardens. I'm going to have tomatoes. I don't know the type of tomato this is, but it's a really pretty tomato that we have the plant for. You see those stripes and striations in it? It's super sweet. So this is going to lend really well to the tabbouleh salad, which I'm going to have lemon juice in it, and I'm going to have olive oil and parsley and salt and pepper. Keeping it really simple. And then the other tomatoes I have are these yellow tomatoes, which are also really sweet, almost like candy. And then some more orange ones. And then we have parsley. We have bulgur wheat. Bulgur wheat is cracked wheat. It is an ancient grain. It is a grain that is very easy to cook. You do not have to cook it on the stove. So the way that I cook the bulgur wheat is let me show you what I do. I'll get a bowl. I put some of the bulgur wheat in it. Not going to use too much. I don't want to waste it. Usually about 3/4 of a cup to a cup, depending upon how much you want for your recipe. This is about a cup, so it yielded me maybe about 1.5 cups, 2 cups. And then I will pour some olive oil on it, some salt and pepper, and then I stir it up. Make sure all the grains are nice and coated. Make sure the olive oil gets on everything. Make sure all those seasonings are kind of dispersed. And then I take boiling water. I pour it on top of it to cover about double or triple the height. And then I cover it with plastic wrap or lid. And then I let it basically cook for 45 minutes to an hour. It's very simple, depending upon which bulgur. Sometimes if it's a quick cooking bulgur, you only need 15 minutes. But if it's a real bulgur that, is a little more dense, you need about 45 minutes to an hour. Super simple, super easy. You can impart a lot of flavor to it with your boiling liquid. So if you want to do more than just pour hot water on it, what I'll do is I'll kind of create like a broth. So in a pan, I'll put water, some lemon slices, some garlic, some bay leaf, some peppercorns, any aromatics that I can think of. And I'll let that boil for about 15-20 minutes. And then I'll take that hot water and strain it over the bulgur wheat. That way I'm getting more than just a water flavor or a salt and pepper flavor. I'm actually imparting more flavor right into the wheat. And then it ends up like this. I strained any liquid that remained out of it. And what I have left is the bulgur wheat.
Which you can eat.
Which I can't eat because I cannot eat gluten. My soup is boiling. Hold on. Almost boiling. And it smells amazing. You want to come check me out? Woohoo! It's getting there. See all those colors? Got the green for the land. You got the lentils for the earth. All right, so once that comes to a rapid boil, I'm going to turn it down to a simmer. And I'm going to let that go. All right.
Auntie Val is on.
Hey, Auntie Val. Okay, so as I was saying, tabbouleh salad, cucumber. Usually you'll see this, in a lot, like I said, a lot of Lebanese restaurants, Mediterranean food. I'm going to de-seed the cucumber. This is a seeded cucumber. You can also use a English cucumber, which has no seeds. But I typically like to cook with vegetables that have seeds because that shows me that they're living, shows me that they have life. If you have not already registered for your $50 gift card, Visa gift card, please do so now. And I believe those winners will be that winner will be contacted or announced during here. So after I slice my cucumber and de-seed it, gonna cut it kind of in quarters and then chop it. Don't have the right knife. Let me get the right knife. Let me make sure I have my right tools. There we go, this is better. A workman without good tools cannot do good work. Very wise woman on the line taught me that.
I always say.
So I'm just going to slice up. Again, nothing fancy. You want kind of like a bite to this. You want something that's going to fit on your fork or your spoon. Because this is being paired with some small grains. Alright, yeah, I'll start with that. Then we have our tomatoes, and these we're just going to cut in half. Going to use a steak knife. Use a serrated knife to cut your tomatoes. Otherwise, they're going to, they're going to just kind of flatten on you and get really soft. You want a nice, sharp, serrated knife so that your tomato stays nice and whole. Can you turn that down to a 2? Now I'm going to use a variety of tomatoes. Again, thinking about color. I'm just cutting it in half. You don't have to do anything super small. And I'm leaving the seeds in them. And like I said, these tomatoes came right from the garden, so I was actually pretty impressed that I was able to harvest my own ingredients for the salad, most of them. And however many you want. If you're cooking for 2 people, I would say, you know, 1 cucumber is enough. If you're cooking for, if you want leftovers, do, you know, 2 to 3 cucumbers. It really depends upon how much you're cooking and who you're cooking for. If you're cooking for leftovers, but you have really good ingredients in here. Your tomatoes, your cucumber, and your parsley. This, again, I've already washed in water and vinegar. And I'm simply going to slice this up, dice it up, mince it up. There's always a question as to what you should use for the herbs. If you should use the stems, if you should only use the flowers or the leaves. I kind of use both. So because this is a recipe that relies on the parsley flavor, I use a lot of the stems because I want that parsley flavor. I just have to make sure I chop it really well and take out the big woody pieces. But otherwise, I use the whole thing. If I'm making like a salad dressing that is going to be processed in the food processor, I will also use the stems for that flavor. But you have to be mindful, those stems are going to break down a little bit. So in terms of the color, it might become a little discolored over a few days. But if you're garnishing, then you just want to use the leaves. But if parsley is a main ingredient, definitely use the stems. And this is going to kind of be like, you know, the greenery in your salad.
Carnice is on.
Hey, Carnice.
Cheryl Jackson.
So you see how I kind of cut that up? And yes, those stems are in there.
Yeah, I kind of missed it.
Oh, you kind of missed it? Okay, here you go. See? The stems are in there. Nice and chopped. Using the back of my knife to clean off. And into the bowl it goes. Now, I am going to use salt and pepper to season, and I'm going to add that right to my bowl. You can use sea salt, you can use pink Himalayan salt, you can use kosher salt, but I like to use sea salt and pink Himalayan salt because it actually, you know, it has some nutrients in it, some amino acids, some essential amino acids to it. So I like using definitely the pink salt, Himalayan pink salt, or sea salt. Now, I don't want to put too much salt in this because, one, obviously we should not be using a lot of salt, but two, with the addition of the lemon juice and the olive oil, that's going to bring out that the flavor or heighten the flavor of the salt. So you want to be careful. If you add too much salt to it, it's going to be way too salty when you add in the lemon juice. You can also add mint to this. It would create, that would be the traditional way to make this dish, parsley and mint with the bulgur wheat. But today I'm only using the parsley. All right, then I have some lemon juice. You can use fresh lemon juice. You can also use lemon zest. I'm using the bottle because this is simple and easy, right? Eyeing it. Kind of like making a dressing. And I have extra virgin olive oil to add to this. I buy my olive oil in bulk, whether it's from Price Right or Aldi's or Wegmans this time. But sometimes I'll actually keep the containers from previous purchases and just refill.
Daytoya's on.
Hey Daytoya, how are you? A little bit of olive oil. Remember, I already did put some olive oil in the bulgur wheat when I was cooking it. So I'm going to stir this up to start.
Another person from Niagara Falls chapter of Links.
Hello, Niagara Falls
Josetta.
chapter of Links and Buffalo chapter of Links and any other links that are on. And now I'm adding the bulgur wheat. You want to eye this. You can use the whole cup of bulgur wheat or you can just use part of it. And this way, so with tabbouleh, so here's the debate. Either it's the grain is an add-on or the grain is the main staple of the dish. It's however you want to do it. If you want your grain to vegetable ratio to be higher, so more grain, less vegetables, you could do it that way. If you want more vegetables and less grain, you could do it that way. As long as it tastes good and it satisfies you, that's how it should be. So as I stir, the grains are coated, or rather the vegetables are coated with the grains. You can see the parsley throughout. And I can smell it. So I can smell the olive oil. I can smell the lemon juice. And I'm going to taste the cucumber. Try not to get any wheat on it, but I know that's not going to happen. I need a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit more olive oil. I can also add a little red wine vinegar to it to bring out just a little more acidity if I chose to.
Getting a lot of comments saying, "Oh, that looks incredible. It looks so tasty."
It's an easy salad. It's a tasty salad. It really is something so simple that, sometimes we forget that, we can make this. And bulgur goes a long way. And I am going to add just a touch more salt. Not too much. I did add salt when I cooked the bulgur wheat. So I am monitoring how much I have. I probably have about maybe 2 teaspoons, 1.5, 2 teaspoons of salt altogether, and I'm probably overestimating. But I have about 3, 4 servings maybe in here if this is a side dish. And a little bit more bulgur. So this is if I want kind of like an equal ratio. And that way it's more of a grain salad than a vegetable salad. So you can do it either way. You still see all those wonderful vegetables, all those beautiful colors. And there you have your bulgur salad, bulgur wheat, or tabbouleh, which is a Lebanese and Mediterranean dish. Any questions on that? While I kind of clean up my area a little bit. All right, so clear some of these things out of the way. I'll bring the salad back a little later. Next, we are making a corn salad. Who doesn't love corn? I do really enjoy corn, especially during this season when it's really sweet and really good. Corn is amazing. I do have to stir the soup, so walk with me a second. Corn is an amazing dish. Look at this. So this has been cooking for about 20 minutes so far. You can see the kale is a little bit darker now. You can see the lentils are kind of popping open. That's what you want. You want them to pop open. That way they're almost done. And you just want to taste them to make sure. So it's definitely brothy, but it's more stew than soup right now. There's my little bay leaf in there, kind of hanging out. Okay. All right, so we'll give this a couple more minutes. It's going to absorb a little more liquid. The longer it cooks, the more liquid it's going to absorb.
Mimi says she loves corn.
Corn is amazing.
Jonathan Murphy said, I can smell that from here.
Oh, it is so good. It's such an amazing, amazing soup. It's so good. All these recipes are good. So when I make my recipes, the majority of my recipes are based around vegetables. The goal is to make vegetables the star of your plate. It's really important because vegetables are living organisms. They're living things that, you know, they replenish themselves. You know, they grow from a seed. They grow from a seed. So imagine what that could do for your body. So eating more vegetables, drinking more water, getting your exercise, all of these things are going to help us get healthier. Making sure we drink 8 glasses of water a day at least, because our body gets so overworked sometimes that it really does get dehydrated. So we may have a headache, but if we find out if we drink a glass of water, we feel better. We may feel that, oh my gosh, I'm starving. I need to eat something right now. I'm hungry. Are you hungry or are you just dehydrated? Have you not had, enough to drink? Have you been only drinking coffee or soda all day? Those are the things you want to kind of ask yourself. If you're not feeling well, what have I done? Have I had water today? Have I had something good to eat today? Or have I only been munching on potato chips and chocolate candy bars and things like that? So our body talks to us. And if we don't listen, it's going to force us to do a couple different things. But listen to your body. Your body is likely telling you want more vegetables and you want more liquids. All right, corn, summer corn. 4 ears for $2. Simple, easy. This corn recipe, so corn is the base, obviously. And you can do it a number of ways. You can use fresh corn, which is what I'm doing today, or you can grill the corn on a grill just to get a nice char on it, or in a cast iron pan, or you can use frozen corn. You can probably use canned corn too, but my preference is fresh corn. You could also blanch it. If you don't like the starchiness or the extra sweetness of corn right from the cob, blanch it in hot boiling water for maybe about 30 seconds and then dunk it in ice water and then slice it. You might like it better. So, I am not baking a corn cake. I am actually using this bundt pan in an effort to ease my cleanup job from this corn, because corn is temperamental and it likes to go all over the place. So, I am taking a very nice sharp paring knife, putting my corn in the bundt pan. Can you see this? Putting my corn in the bundt pan and slicing. And like auto TV magic, all the corn kernels go into the bundt pan and very few go on my counter. I just love this. This is like a life hack, a kitchen hack. A couple went, but I'm probably going a little too fast. Look at that. And there you go. And if you're making a corn chowder, save the stalks. Save that ear of corn that you just shaved. And actually boil that in some water with some garlic and some onion and some aromatics so you can get a corn broth. And that will actually heighten the flavor of any corn chowder or a potato corn soup that you make. Potato corn soup sounds really good, actually. Right.
A lot of people are remarking over the brilliance of using a bundt pan to catch kernels.
Isn't it amazing? You heard it here. By Alexa Joan, make vegetables the star of your plate. And remember, eat off art. That's my commercial. So yeah, save these. Throw them in a stock pot with some water, some garlic, some onion. You'll have a nice little corn broth to go with some of your soup. And all of your corn kernels. Look at that. Amazing. Whoever thought of this was a genius. All right, so and this is one of those salads that you can, I think I used the wrong bowl. That's all right. You can throw any vegetable in. So I'm putting my corn in. And I'm going to add some seeded tomatoes. So these are Roma tomatoes and just some vine tomatoes that I'm using. And I may use some more of those cherry tomatoes. I'm going to take the seeds out because I don't want all that extra liquid in there. I only want the tomato skin. So I'm taking those out. I don't want the extra liquid because I don't want the corn to break down too much. And then I'm going to end up just chopping up the tomatoes. Just a small dice. Or if you like tomatoes and want extra tomatoes, you can certainly make them a little larger. And then I'm just going to throw them right in my salad. I'm going to add some more cucumbers, and I'm going to make these a small dice because my corn isn't that big, so I don't want a large hunk of cucumber. I want the cucumber to be about the same size as my corn, or a little bigger. I'm going to take the seeds out again. The other reason why I'm taking out the seeds from some of these things, the tomatoes and the cucumber, is for the shelf life of the salad. So this is a salad I actually want to keep in the refrigerator for up to maybe 4 or 5 days. So if I have extra liquid that is not the acid or what you're actually cooking the salad in, it's going to break down your vegetables a little more than you want to, and they're going to get soggier than you want to before you want them. Cucumbers in. Adding a little bit of jalapeno, fresh jalapeno. Be careful when you peel your jalapenos. Do not touch your eyes. Do not touch your face. Do not go to the bathroom after you slice jalapenos. Make sure you wash your hands. It will pose a very uncomfortable situation. All right, jalapenos in. Radishes. Just a couple of them. Radishes are peppery, and they're going to give a nice crunch to your salad. Can you see that? So these salads are really cool for, just a quick weeknight dinner. Maybe with some fish or some roasted chicken like we have here. Or, a little steak if you're, deciding to have steak, one night on the grill or something like that. It's a wonderful addition. And And again, it's something to use up all those vegetables that you typically would not know what to do with. You can always add bell pepper to this salad. What else? You could add beans to this salad to get a little protein if you don't eat animal meats and things like that. All right. So I only put in about 2 radishes, not too many, because I already have the jalapeno in there. You can also add green onion. If you don't want to add regular onion, you could always add green onion. It's a little softer. And for my herb of choice, I am using cilantro. You could also add basil to this salad. What else? You could add avocado to this salad. So any of the salads that I'm showing you, these are just like bases. You can have fun with them and do more with them. Chopping up my cilantro. Adding that to my bowl.
Althea Porter said, I now see vegetables as medicinal food.
It is so medicinal. I mean, they're very healing. It's very important to eat the vegetables. You don't realize how many vegetables you don't eat until you start focusing on your vegetables. And then you start kind of seeing how you feel better. All right, I am adding some salt. Salt is an enhancer. It is not, you can season with salt, but salt should not be your main seasoning component. Salt is to enhance flavors that you are putting together, to highlight or to bring out flavors that are part of your dish. So I'm going to be using as my acid some lime juice and maybe a little bit of red wine vinegar. I am squeezing my lime because I want to make sure that I break up all those cells in there. See all those juices? And I'm adding the lime right to my bowl. Lime juice goes really well with corn. And the other thing you could add to this salad is maybe like some feta cheese or cotija cheese to give it more of that briny flavor. And of course, more olive oil. Olive oil is good for you. I know a lot of people that will maybe take like a spoonful of olive oil a day because it kind of lubes them up inside. But, you know, I think that might be an old wives' tale. I know a lot of people in Italy, when I was over in Italy, they would, you know, literally take a spoonful of olive oil every day, and they swore by it. All right, so I have my corn, I have my tomatoes, my radishes, my jalapeno, my cucumbers, and my cilantro. Beautiful. How does that look? And again, if you want more color, you can always add some black beans to it. Oops. You can add some red pepper. You could add some green beans if you wanted to. Really, sky's the limit. Add some avocado for some healthy fat. And maybe some, you know, feta cheese if you are a person that eats cheese. All right. Now, let's see. How are we on time? It's about 8:07. No questions? You all are just enjoying the music and the mixing.
Sounds gorgeous.
It's a beautiful salad, I tell you. Anything with color. You know, there's definitely truth to eating the rainbow. Making sure you eat lots of different colors each and every day. clean up just a little bit because now I'm getting ready to dice up some chicken for you all. Can you hand me that orange cutting board over there? Thank you.
So Sheila Beckford, would you be able to list the ingredients again?
Yes, I can. And they'll also be on my website at www.alexajoan.com. For the corn salad, I have fresh corn. I have diced cucumbers without the seeds. I have diced tomatoes without the seeds. I have radishes and jalapeno pepper, no seeds unless you like the spice, and cilantro and radishes. I think I already said radishes. Right in the salad. And sometimes, depending upon, the season of the corn, if you need a little more sweetness to it, even adding just a hint of maple syrup or a hint of honey to your salad really can also add to that, acidic flavor. So you're getting lots of different notes at the same time.
Val said, you do takeout?
Yeah. Yeah. Call me up. And again, with this salad, feel free to go wild. Add some avocado. Add some feta cheese to it. Add some different vegetables to it and see what comes of it. Alright, now, my chicken. So, breaking down chickens I kind of used to doing. So, what I do is I kind of just take off the leg.
I'm not even down there
Oh,
yet.
I'm sorry.
Man,
I always have to wait for my technology
you got me 3 or 4 things
person
at a time.
to catch up with me. I go too fast. When I'm in the kitchen, I'm always moving because I always have everything prepped out, so I'm ready to just rock and roll. I always forget that there are people here. So, literally just break up the chicken, and this is going to be for our soup. So we're breaking up this chicken in an effort to get some meat for our soup. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Bite-sized pieces are perfectly perfectly fine.
A lot of people are asking, for real, like, you made a lot of food tonight.
Hey,
where's the takeout?
I got some leftovers. I don't know if the boys here will eat it. They'll eat the chicken, they'll eat the soup. I don't know if they'll eat all the salads. So when I'm breaking down the chicken, if I'm making something, obviously when we're cooking or when we're slicing chicken for dinner, we'd slice nice slices. But if I'm preparing this ahead of time, I'm just going to slice off a chunk and then chop it. Look at that, perfectly cooked. Wash my hands a little bit. Get the knife out. And make sure I have white meat and dark meat. Dice up the chicken. Now, for the soup, I can just throw all the chicken into the soup and let it kind of stay there. Or I can just kind of top the soup with the chicken like a garnish. I think that's what I'm going to do this time. So I got to go check my soup and make sure it's cooked. I'm going to take my bowl with me. And a spoon so I can make sure it's actually cooked all the way. Wow, this is beautiful. And it's just the right amount of liquid. So it's not soupy. And it's more of, more of a bite. I'm going to taste it. And when you taste your soup, you always want to taste every single component. You want to make sure you have the lentils and the carrots and the kale. You want to make sure it's all cooked. It's good. Salt. Remember, we did not add salt to this because we did not want the lentils to be hard. We wanted the lentils to absorb all of that liquid and all of those aromatics. And if we added the salt too soon, I wouldn't have done that. So, and it's smoky because of that cumin and smoked paprika. But as a finisher, when I plate my dish, I'm actually probably going to add a little bit of sriracha right on top of it, just to give it a little bit of heat too, to add to that smokiness.
Camera's tripping again.
The camera is? Yeah. So, and those lentils are perfect. Now this is a point when you taste the soup and you determine what else does it need. Does it need a little bit of salt? Does it need more pepper? Does it need a little acid? Does it need a little more cumin or a little more smoked paprika? Smoked paprika are definitely some things that you can put in at the end of the cooking. They will deepen in flavor over time, but you can add them at the end as well. So we add it in the beginning, but if you feel it needs a little more flavor, you can always add it a little bit at the end too. Another spice that would be really wonderful in this dish is actually an Ethiopian spice. It's called berbere, or Berber spice, B-E-R-B-E-R-E spice. It's an Ethiopian spice. I know you can find it at Mandela's Market on Ferry and Jefferson. Penzeys has it. I'm not sure how authentic it is. You can also find it at many of the West African markets. But it has a paprika base. It's spicy, but it's good. It would be, even just like a little teaspoon or something like that to a dish like this would heighten that flavor.
Have some questions.
Okay, I'm ready for questions. You want to follow me over to the counter? Did I?
Okay, did you use the entire chicken?
No, I didn't. So I left it. I just did enough for this dish. So when I mentioned the chicken, you can do one of two things. You can dice up half of the chicken or the whole chicken and, put some in the soup and just have that ready to go. Not everybody in my household eats chicken, so I would leave the vegetables as a base and then add the chicken as I'm heating up the different portions. That way it can be utilized for multiple types of dishes. But yeah, I would use maybe about half. For this recipe, I would probably use, this is a large chicken. It's actually very big. I forgot how many pounds it is. Maybe 4 or 5 pounds. I would probably use maybe about a little less than half of the chicken I would add to the soup. And if you need a little more liquid, I would warm up some vegetable broth. You can pour that right in, or chicken broth. I would not add water because that's going to dilute your flavor.
Okay, Melissa said, are you reserving the skin or just not using it in the soup?
I am not reserving the skin this time. Remember, this is a healthy dish. So I'm going to give the appropriate message of don't use the skin. Cook with the skin to impart the flavor to the chicken, but don't eat the skin because it doesn't have healthy things in it. It's fat. It's fatty. It's raised cholesterol. You don't want to do that. So use the skin to cook. Use use the bones to cook because those things are going to impart the flavor into the chicken, but just don't eat it. When I was in the kitchen and I was cooking for other people at some of the restaurants that I was in, we would actually take off the chicken skin. Don't if you're looking for extra healthy, don't listen to this. But we would take off the chicken skin and we would run it under the broiler so it would become nice and crisp. And that would be like you know how pork rinds are crispy? Well, this would be chicken skin, but extra crispy. So a little tip for you. So I'm gonna add a little bit of my sriracha right on top. Ooh, maybe.
You don't have to move it. I'll move.
Again, I just wanted that extra little kick of heat to it. And then I'm going to top it with some of my chicken. And it's almost like a grain bowl, kind of. It's not even a stew at this point. It's almost like, you know, you have your base of vegetables and lentils, and you have a little bit of broth, but then on top you have your chicken. You can top it with some green onions. You can slice off the top of the green onions. Put that right on top. You can get a little bit of parsley, a little bit of green, fresh parsley. Sprinkle that on top. Have fun in the kitchen. You know, do a lot of different things. Don't look for the average or, you know, the run of the mill. Add a spice that you've never used before and see how that'll do.
Maisha from Atlanta is on.
Hi, Maisha from Atlanta. How are you?
She says, I'm hungry.
Ah, you're in Atlanta.
My mother said, you sure that's not the turkey that we saw this morning?
That is not the turkey you saw this morning or yesterday. So, let's see. What other questions do we have before we wrap up?
I gave you all. She said, Maisha says she's well. She misses you.
Oh, we miss you too. When you coming back?
She said she missed you. She didn't say she missed me. So
I miss you too. When you coming back? All right. So we have made some summer salads today and a nice lentil stew for this cool evening that is getting close to September. Well, so,
there's
as
cool
a
things
recap,
about September.
what'd you say?
There's some cool things about September.
There are cool things about September, but I'm talking about the cool weather in September.
I like September.
I like September too, but it's not warm anymore all the time. Anyway, my technology person. So we have our tabbouleh salad with cucumbers and tomatoes. Tomatoes from our Freedom Garden. Cucumbers from the store. Some parsley. Some bulgur wheat. Some lemon juice. We have our corn salad. What?
Melissa's friend John Murphy said, can you email that for me?
Smell-o-vision?
You'd be really in the money if you could do that.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine?
Email some food?
Oh, that would be amazing. So we have our corn salad with cucumbers and radishes, jalapeno, tomatoes, fresh corn, cilantro, lime, salt and pepper. And then we have our lentil stew with our brown lentils, our Tuscan kale. We have onions and peppers and carrots, a little bit of jalapeno, a little bit of garlic, some tomato paste, smoky smoked paprika, smoky cumin, a little bit of granulated garlic and tomato paste, chicken broth, and water. And we put our roasted chicken that we made for the week right on top to give it an extra little protein kick. And we have a wonderful dinner. We have some wonderful healthy salads that you can eat throughout the week. And you can add some healthy, high-quality proteins too, whether they are plant-based or animal protein. So if you marinated some tofu and grilled it up, you can add that to this. If you had some beans or some tempeh, you could add to this as well. Some chicken. The corn salad would be a wonderful topper for some grilled fish, whether it's cod or haddock, or an accompaniment to a salmon, grilled or pan-seared salmon. Your bulgur tabbouleh salad with the cucumbers and the tomatoes also pair well with some really high quality meats, like a nice flank steak that's marinated with some nice smoky flavors, some rosemary and thyme, a little bit of oregano with some olive oil on the grill or on a cast iron skillet. That would go great with the salad. Maybe some lamb if you are eating lamb. But definitely fish, turkey, and chicken would go with all these meals. Those are the ones that are definitely better for our digestive system. As we get a little older, we notice that we can't digest red meats as much as we would like to. Our body just doesn't like it for some reason. So our body is telling us we need to transition to something that is a little easier to digest for our system. And let's see, what else? I think that's it. Any other questions?
I'll give them 2 minutes for questions.
2 minutes for questions while I clean up and find a spoon so I can taste my soup with the chicken. With a little bit of sriracha. And I have the dark meat and the white meat in there.
Mimi says love you.
Love you. This is really good. That chicken just adds, just the extra comfort to it. The lentils are just nice, and lentils are always good. I don't know what it is about lentils, but lentils just they feel like home. They just feel really, they're earthy, so it's kind of grounding. Maybe that's what it is. It's a grounding meal. There's not a lot of broth, so you're not slurping and, making a mess and everything. It's like just a meal in a bowl. But the broth is extra good. I could also add maybe a touch of red wine vinegar to this, just to heighten the acidity to it. Just again to get that umami, that extra note of flavor to it. So when you're making your dishes, think about how you don't want to add too much because you don't want to muddy the flavor. But how can you just kick it up a notch without adding salt? Because the goal is not to add salt. The goal is to add flavor. Salt only enhances the flavor. And as we're talking about, health disparities and the chronic diseases in our communities, it's really important to recognize the things that are heightening these diseases. Processed foods, salt, sugar, not getting exercise, not drinking enough water. So, and not getting the right foods. You always want to make sure you make vegetables to start your plate. Have more vegetables. Incorporate more vegetables onto your plate. Instead of saying, ooh, I'm going to have chicken tonight. What's going to go with it? Next time say, ooh, I'm going to have corn, and I'm going to grill some Brussels sprouts, and I'm going to make this tabbouleh salad that was on this website. And, okay, well, maybe I'll just add some grilled chicken to it maybe at the end. That's how you should start thinking about your dishes. Build your plates around vegetables. Make vegetables the star of your plate.
All right, so I'm going to do that. So Mimi wants a picture.
Oh, okay.
So hopefully that.
So yes. So and this series was brought to you by REACH, which is Racial and Ethnic Approaches to Community Health, which is a project of CAI, Cicatelli Associates. And it's a national program funded by the CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And the goal is to ensure that the Buffalo residents who reside in the Ferry Street corridor have access to healthy foods, have access to understanding what healthy meals are and assistance on how to make them, and making sure that through demonstration and hands-on instruction and interactive dialogue, how to prepare these simple healthy meals. We are in the season of gardening, so there is a bountiful amount of vegetables and produce to choose from. And if you go to the store and buy a whole lot of vegetables, don't get too overwhelmed. Just maybe focus on 2 or 3 vegetables for the week to incorporate into your daily meals. And if you end up using them all up, then good, you can go to the store and get some more. But focus on 2 or 3 that you're gonna make sure that you incorporate into every meal or every other meal. That way you don't get overwhelmed by buying corn and Brussels sprouts and green beans and pepper, and then you have so much produce in your refrigerator you don't know what to do with it.
And it goes bad.
2 to 3 vegetables. What?
I said then it'll go bad.
And then it will go bad, and then you got to figure out what to do with it. You don't want to do that. Just 2 or 3 vegetables, maybe 3 to 4. Think of different ways that you can cook those vegetables. You can steam them. You can roast them. You can grill them or saute them. Variety. Add some different spices to it or herbs. Make it interesting. Garlic, ginger, a little bit of soy sauce. Instead of using the salt, pick a low sodium soy sauce and omit the salt from your dish. And that soy sauce will give you that, that little heightened flavor. It'll mix well with the ginger and the garlic and maybe some sesame oil. So, that's what I have for you. Hopefully you all registered to win your $50 Visa gift card. And hopefully you all will join me again in September for the 3rd and final episode of this pilot series, where we are talking about soul food, and not the old Southern soul food with the mac and cheese and the fried chicken and all those heavy things. I'm talking about soul food. Food that makes our soul feel good. Food that gives us life. And food that sustains us. So thank you so much for joining me. I am Alexa Joan, Chef Alexa Joan Wajed. I appreciate your time. I thank Reach for inviting me to spend this time with you all. And I look forward to speaking with you again in September. So look on my page, like my page, by Alexa Joan, so you can get more information about the next class, which is taking place September 25th. And you can also find out more information on my website at www.alexajoan.com. That's AlexaJoan.com. So thank you. And I hope you make some wonderful summer salads.
Maisha said, Reach loves you. And great job.
Thank you.
Everybody said great job. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Links, for joining us today.
Learned a lot of new things.
Awesome.
Look at food differently, etc., etc.
That's the goal. Look at food differently. Look at your plate differently. Listen to your body. Your body is telling you what you need to know, but it's your job to listen to it. Sometimes we kind of ignore it. Don't ignore your body. Take care.